Let me tell you something. I was just sitting right here. Um, I don't know. I was thinking. Let me tell you. I ain't gonna say it's a vision. A vision can be thoughts. You really have to just see something with your eyes closed. I was thinking about because I thought about this the other day. The churches. You know, the seven churches in Revelation. And I was thinking about these churches, and I was just seeing a church. The first church I was seeing. This church, they have a lot of holiness. You know, and they live righteously. You know, they live a clean life. But their problem is, so they have fruit for God, but their problem is self-righteousness, and they don't see it. I have a problem too, so I'm gonna say that yeah, I know I have a problem. I have problems. I have specks in my eyes. I ain't just trying to point out other people's specks, but see these things, people don't even see their own problems. They think, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah, there's something wrong. Okay, so the first church that I see a church that has this lives holy, lives clean, and they outreach and they do things. They don't have like they're not moving in a lot of gifts like healing and deliverance and things like that. But they have fruit as far as they're doing they're pressing for God. They're outreaching. They're telling people about Jesus. They're many services, revivals. They're just not having gifts of like prophecy and healing. Far as any type of future prophecy or anything like that, because it ain't just one prophecy anyway. But the thing is, all right, but they have this self righteousness, and that's one of their big things. Is it like the biggest thing? It's even more things, and that's with everybody. And but that's the one thing, and the worst thing is with all of this stuff with our faults is that we don't see them. That's why it's a fault because you don't see it. Because if you seen it, you'll probably try to change it, or you would desire to change, and you have no desire to change because you don't see it. And when someone tells it to you, then you don't accept it. Yeah, and let me tell you this: hearing is not just hearing. Somebody can tell you something, but you don't hear it. And Jesus said, "Did you not hear it?" He spoke that to people, and maybe in a different manner. Hearing is understanding, and hearing is accepting too. Yeah, that's two things about hearing. It's about understanding and accepting. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you this: this is the second church I see. The second church I see, I believe they have holiness. Um, you know, Righteousness is all in Jesus Christ. Holiness to me is cleanliness, living clean and sanctified. I believe they have outreach. As far as you like missionary work, as far as going out and evangelizing. They also have, the gift of prophecy, like on a higher level than just biblical prophecy, and they have the gift of healing in this church. But let me tell you, the worst thing with this church is worse than the first church. Pride. They got a lot of pride in this church. Yep, they got a lot of pride in this church because of their fruit. It's causing a lot of pride. And God still used them, and still this fruit is going to remain. God said the fruit is going to remain, but the pride is there. And as long as they don't accept it and it's never brought to the light, the pride is going to remain. That's the second church I see. They have all these great things going for God. They got this thing with this pride going on, and it's big. See, I'm gonna point out the biggest things that I see. I see is pride in this church. The first church, it's kind of pride too, but they're not just prideful. They're just like self-righteous. Just like they know that God is doing it, but they're like, try to enforce. Hey, you need to be holy. You need to be holy, and they focus on their holiness and trying to, you know, I don't have a good way to describe it other than self-righteousness. But the second church I see, they have so much pride because they have so many gifts, and that makes them, in the heart, feel high and mighty. And the third church that I see, because I only see three churches, the third church is just, I'm going to say it's like, I just thought about definitely a direct church in there, like the lukewarm church. But I'm going to say they not even like so much. I ain't going to say like the lukewarm church in the way they are, but this church right here, It's just like giving a sin. They go to church, and then when they get out of church, they forget about the word of God, and it's no more church for them. It's right back straight into sin. You know, like no refraining and no restraint from sin. Are they saved? They saved. They calling on the name of God. They going to church. Going to the building. They worshiping God. They just have no power of restraint, and they don't even know to really seek God more than on Sundays. This church right here, they may go to church more than Sunday, maybe twice a week. They're not really having revivals in this church. It's just, it's really more like a Sunday church, and that's why the sin is so much greater in this church, because of the fact that they're not, pressing in as much as these first two churches. And sin is just like rampant in this church, and it's widespread, and they're not seeing it, and neither is the leadership addressing it. And that's their problem. They don't have, pride is there, because with all that sin, is pride is there, but they're not seeing themselves as prideful. They just own, this is the church that they're like, hey, you can't judge me, God is the judge. Because, they don't want to hear the correction of, indulging in the worldly lifestyle. And that's just what I see. And, I don't know why I had this in my mind, but God was just telling me this. This is Ecclesiastes 7:21. And take no heed unto all words that are spoken, lest thou hear thy servant curse thee. 7:22. For oftentimes also thine own heart knoweth that thyself likewise has cursed others. See, God said, in your heart you have cursed others. Have I cursed others in my heart? I just said, I told the truth earlier. I have thought evil in my heart, and it was about to come out of my mouth, but God kept it in my heart, and it didn't ever come out of my mouth, and then God moved it away from me, like almost immediately, because He kept my mouth from saying some stuff that I wanted to say at times, because of, things that rose up against me. And, it was in my heart, and God just removed it out of my heart, so, but, see, people I don't know, I ain't gonna say that God ain't blessing people like this. I don't know, things are different, but sometimes it ain't going that way for other people. They keeping this stuff in their hearts, and they thinking on other evil thoughts. And see, the reason with me is because what I'm saying, is really pertains to the Word of God. And I don't know, people just looking at me like, I don't know where he think he is, and that's the thing, is people thinking like I ain't been, like they looking at their time, and they looking at my time, like where he came from, and he's supposed to be this or that, and he just came out of the blue, and this or that, and people don't believe that you can't come from just like engulfed in sin to being the way I am in this much time. You can't have this much knowledge. And I'm gonna tell you something too. They even accused me of demonic power before. Yeah. But see, don't forget about this now. When I got saved, I found out about the mark of the beast. You can say it ain't out here, whatever you think. You think it out here, that's on you. I know it. I know where it's at. Yeah, I know how to identify. I know a whole lot about it. But the thing is, remember now, there's in Revelation, it talks about it in 13. But when I found out the blood was water, I'm like, the water is blood. And I found out that everyone was cursing God, in a way that it seems hidden. You think they're just saying it, but God revealed this to me. No, this is what they're doing. And I'm like, we at Revelation 16:9 already. And then I was like, man, we ain't got nothing but a few more chapters to go, because at 21, like, the new heavens and the new earth come. I'm like, man, it's over with. So I'm thinking, like, man, it's over with for this world. I ain't got nothing but God. I'm saved, and I already plan to live the rest of my life out for God anyway. If I live 50 or 60 more years, hold up, buddy. I probably ain't got nothing but about 2 or 3 more years left. We probably ain't even got that long. The world finna end now. Well, I'm just finna pray, and I'm finna learn as much as I can before I get up there with God. And that's where I was at. See, people ain't never been at that point. You never been at that point. They thought the world was finna end, and all you had was God anyway, because you've been betrayed by everybody and all your friends and your family and all this stuff, and and you know, and you haven't even, and not the church, not the first church, not the church that I went to in like 2015, 2014, and like I think that was 2012. I visited down there. It was like my first visit. My homeboy tried to bring me down there. I hadn't even like went down there, or they hadn't like shunned me yet. Like when I got saved, they didn't really know. I spoke to them, but I didn't speak to them like that. And so I just thought, I'm like, hey, I didn't have nothing in. I wasn't even really angry or upset with nobody. I was like, my family did me wrong and they turned on me, and my friends had already betrayed me anyway. I wasn't hanging out with nobody or none of that no more. I just used to do everything I used to do for my family at that point. I was working, yeah, and um, then I just I went to jail, and I was just like, I'm just waiting to get up there. I was waiting to get up there and see the church. I was waiting to get in heaven and see the church. Maybe we all gonna be going. I'll see y'all there then. And none of it never happened. And I was trying to fill myself up with God, and I wanted to exalt myself then. Let me show these people what God did with me. But I never planned on being on the earth. I planned on going on to heaven. I thought the world was finna end. Like it was really completely over with. But no, I didn't understand the prophecy of the biblical prophecy with numbers is like a day is a year in biblical time. And that's the way God gave the Israelites the 40 years in the wilderness according to the days that they searched out the land. And so that's how I dived in, and that's how I got to the point that I got to. And I still got to grow, and I'm still growing. And they threatened me with these 2 years, and now these people, they starting to irritate me here. So what I'm thinking about, I'm finna go to work, and ain't not for I can have no money in jail. And then I'm finna go ahead. They was talking about, they was thinking, and see, they was threatening me with this because they knew I had this desire for this woman, but that's over with. I'm straight on that. They know I had this desire for this woman. That's part of why they was holding me in jail so long. Yeah, before, because you go to jail for probation, you only do 2 weeks. They was trying to play off the desire that I had for this woman, and then the 2 years, that's too like, oh, you gonna think she's gonna leave you and go and don't, and not wait on you, and because the evil tried to come against me in jail, like you know I'm gonna tell you what I thought, and I know it's true. Someone else tried to come and play like me. Yeah, I know that happened. And I know, temptation have been there. I'm gonna say, how do you say? I know a pursuit have been there by by others. Yeah, I know it has came across. Whether it been entertained or not, I don't know. And devils try to play out for my thoughts with that, and that's why they held me in there, and they want to play with them 2 years with that. And they know I used to like to make the videos, and I used to try to do that, but I ain't doing none of that stuff no more. No, none of that. No, nothing but God matter to me. People, I ain't trying to say it like that. God loves people. People don't matter to me, like as far as trying to establish no relationship with people. People hate me. Only thing matters to me is staying away from evil, like giving myself to sin. I ain't finna look at no pornography. I ain't finna smoke no weed. I ain't finna get no gun. I ain't finna curse nobody out. You know, I ain't finna sell no weed. I ain't finna sell no cigarettes. I ain't finna go and do no fraud. None of that stuff. I ain't finna like hurt nobody physically, and I ain't finna just try to insult people with hurtful words. Like, see, that's what I was doing with that when I'm on there rapping. See, I put somebody else on there cursing, and then it's somebody else on there cursing, but I was rapping, but I was talking at people, you know. But I don't do that. I ain't doing that no more. I ain't living like that no more. You know. Only thing I do is I just back up, and I've been like that anyway. Just in the world, I just bag off with people. But they was trying to play me like that with them 2 years, cause they was I had the desire, and they wanted to think I want to You know, man, I'm not even studying that no more. I'm finna go see they come with me with any type of foolish, man. I'm finna go do my 2 years. That's what I got on probation, 2 years. That's what I got left. And by the time I do these 2 years, man, by the time I get out from doing these 2 years, man, I'm gonna be so strong. You know, I'm just gonna be real. It ain't gonna matter about. I don't know. Maybe God bring me from just like shunning people. But when I go into jail for them 2 years, I ain't finna deal with nobody like that. And for the most part, I'm gonna set myself apart or let God set me apart. And I'm just gonna study. So it ain't gonna be no time to do nothing because it could start off with conversations, and I notice with people, and it's always evil spirits leading. It's just a distraction. And see, some of this stuff don't even seem like it is, but it is. And this conversation might start off about something, then with conversation, because these people straight up in the world, and they act like they're looking for God. And then after it comes from, a conversation from God, it leads quickly into something else, into a conversation starts stirring another way, and try to get you to talking about some type of unrighteousness. So I don't got time to really talk to nobody because I know that's where it leads to. You talk about God, they don't want to talk about that. But they want to lead you somewhere else. Then you're trying to talk about God to people. They say you're trying to force your religion on them. But they don't want to talk about that, or they don't want to hear you talk about that. But they want to call you over there and want you to talk about some women, a strip club, or block and all that type of stuff. And hey, man, and then you wrong, and you some type of whatever, you some type of something, because you don't want to talk about that. But what about you? You don't want to talk about God, and I don't want to talk about that. So why are we talking? Because we can't come to no agreement, and we seeing from two different perspectives. So you should just leave me alone, because I'm not bothering you anyway. You come and start a conversation with me. There's plenty of people over there that want to talk about that stuff that you're talking about. You should go talk to them about that. But see, it's evil spirits that's leading behind, and they want to at least try to cause strife. If that's all because they know they ain't gonna get me to indulge in the conversation, just start some strife. Oh man, you think you all there? You think you better than somebody? You need to live. You ain't living like that on the street. Now I'm most definitely living like that on the street. I'm most definitely living like that on the street. Yeah, it sounds like bad, like I'm living like that. Now I'm most definitely living like that, reading my Bible every day. I'm most definitely living like that, praying every day. I'm most definitely living like that, not looking at TV. I'm most definitely living like that, not fornicating. Thank God. Because that's the condemnation that comes with this jail stuff. And and I just go and do my time. And the whole thing about that is why I'm saying all this, because, it's just a distraction and try to get you from reading the word and praying for even just a short time. Evil spirits are very desperate. And what do they use? They use people. And, so that's what I ain't gonna just try to go back. Then I gotta kind of settle down some, because I just ready to just like, oh, look here, buddy. I'm gonna call dude, man. Hold on, man. Go on, take me back. But that's what type of threat that was, because they was thinking I haven't trying to play on some desire. They thinking I'm having. Thank God I ain't even got that desire no more. I'm straight. And I'm gonna say this too, because I'm talking about this. God, please forgive me, because I'm talking too much a little. But like, there was partiality I had in my heart. You can't judge. You can't take some. Yeah, it's good. You can't look at another woman. This why I'm saying this is in the big picture of it is the saints is just as the sinners. The saints is just as the sinners. The only thing that makes the difference is the saints really have accepted Jesus in their hearts. But you can't look at a woman because you know she loves God at this point, and then think that she's greater than this woman that's you know uh, caught and living in sin. Because there's partiality. You saying she's better than her. Now she's no better than her. She's the same as her. It's just Jesus is good and glad that she has got reach. But they're not. It's no difference. Yeah, they live differently, but truly their souls are the same. And if patience finds a woman, and true love finds a woman in understanding, then she can be just the same. Yeah. But love is patience. It takes patience. So this was just partiality, because you're looking down on other women because you're looking at one woman. See, that's something God, it was in my heart. Just partiality. You're looking down on other women because you're looking at this woman. And you ain't right for that. And I didn't even see. See, that's something I didn't see. I'm just now seeing that. Looking at these women. These women ain't. Yeah, they ain't right. Ain't nobody right though. Yeah, ain't nobody right. Not even me. The only one that's right is God. Well, Jesus said, no one is good but God. That's it. And that's partiality in my heart. And but the whole focus of what I'm saying is they want to play off me and throw me 2 years for that because they not had that desire. Thank God for all this because they like the other day the desire was getting taken out of my heart too. It was something going on. It was confusion in the midst of it, but like the desire was getting taken out of my heart. But thank God, like I'm good I'm good. Like I'm good. And you know, only thing I got is God, and that's the only thing I ever have. That's the only thing I ever need. Thank God in the mighty name of King Jesus. And I'm gonna say that again. The only thing I got is God, and if that's the only thing I ever have, that's the only thing I ever need, and that's the truth in the mighty name of King Jesus.